welcome to the dish right here on MX24. If you're just joining in, what a way to start the week with me. My name is Miriam Mensah, and of course, I keep telling you, this season is one that you would absolutely love. If you're joining us for the very first time, listen, or you watched the previous season, so you know the style we used to, do the show. But now you're wondering, why is it one-on-one? Why is it in this dark room? Why are we doing podcast style? Well, this time we're focusing on what International Women's Day stood for this year, which is celebrating, collaboration and support. And so we're not only celebrating strength this year, we're also celebrating collaboration and support, and women who are supporting and pouring into other women, other girls to make them better. And so we're going to be doing a lot of one-on-ones this year where we're talking to women who are progressive women, progressively thinking women, but also the women who are pouring into other women because I tell you that once a woman pours into another woman, incredible things are birthed. And so stay right here with me as we delve into these big conversations. But today, let's take a look at who we're talking to today. Have you thought about finding who you truly are in yourself? Well, my guest today is going to be one that is going to help us find ourselves. Because that's what she's done all her life, to impact and to raise a people that know who exactly they are. MamiSerwaa Amoakohene is my guest on The Dish today. We're going to get into conversations that will reshape your mentality and mindset on who you truly are. Stay right here with me on The Dish as we delve into this conversation. Well, there you have it. Again, I am super, super excited. Do I call you Miss or Mrs.? Miss Amoakohene is my guest this evening, and we're going to be delving into big conversations. But before we do that, I want to say a big thank you to the GC brand and, of course, to Telecel as well for coming on board and supporting this season. I'm telling you that if your family is going to thank you for great skin, for a healthy skin, then they're going to thank you because you chose the GC brand. And so today, grab you GC brand, baby boy and baby girl, styler for the man in the house. And for you yourself, the mother of the house, you got to be a princess. I'm telling you, it's baby girl season. Whether you're a mother of 5 or mother of 10, you're still a baby girl, forever a baby girl. And so your skin needs to be showing just that. And we have products for you. You cannot be going around smelling like an evil spirit. So we have also products to keep you smelling fresh and feeling fresh all day long for the man, for the babies, and for the mother. And so the GC brand has got you completely covered. And that money of yours deserves the safest home. And Telecel is providing just that for you. And so just jump onto the Telecel brand. Telecel brand is the one you want. All these other networks that are stressing you, are you happy with yourself? Are you happy? I know you're not happy. So let's do this for ourselves. Thank you so much for coming on board. GC brand, of course, Telecel. Like I said earlier, my guest is already seated. She is one who has impacted lives. She is big on you identifying who you truly are. And so, Ms. Amoakohene, good evening. How are you doing?
Wonderful. Thank you so very much for having me.
Are you? If I was your little sister, would you be proud of me?
Why not?
Oh, there we go. See.
Yeah.
See. But let's start from, I'm not even going to say let's start from the top. Let's start from where you bet that idea of who you are. How do you couch that project to be?
Identity.
Identity.
Identity discovery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's your journey. But you have a program that has a particular name.
Oh, yeah. Finding the person called
Finding
me.
the person called me. Because I was trying to... I said, who you are, what are you?
Yeah.
Finding the person called me. That is deep.
Wow. I can't take credit for this one because the name was divinely given. So I have to give credit to...
Back to Jehovah.
Yes.
Jehovah Shammah. Yeah. Jesus, the one.
Yes. He dropped this in my heart. But the journey to this really started off when a friend asked me for help. Yeah. She said, I'm trying to find a job. Can you help me? I'm like, oh, yeah, And then I'm thinking, if I started a business, we can have really serious talks. Why is it, a job? Like, okay, whatever. Because I was all into business, entrepreneurship, all of that. So I decided, really, it was kind of have a conversation with her. Have a conversation. So I said, okay, let's have a conversation. So in the process of it, she asked me a question. And the question was, do you know your strengths?
Do you know your strength?
Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, that's an easy question. And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah. And it was like, I don't. I struggle when I'm asked that question, especially in interviews. Can you help me? I'm like, oh man, if you spend too much time by yourself in your head too much, you would discover a whole lot of stuff about yourself. And
I
so
could agree to that, but I want you to end the story. Yeah.
so that really was the birth of this journey. Me trying to help a friend be able to answer the question, do you know your strengths?
But at the time, did you know your strength?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it was really, really easy for you.
Yes.
And did you also find it strange that another person didn't know what their strengths were?
I never thought about it. I thought it was normal that everybody knew their strength. So it was new to me. It was a shock. And I was like, okay, well, sure, no problem. And as I engaged other people, I realized
It's not normal.
it's not.
People don't know their strengths.
Nah. Nah.
Is that, nah.
That was the big shocker. And
Yeah.
even, I'm talking about even now.
Yeah, people still
Still.
don't.
Yeah.
People still don't.
And this was 2016 when I started.
That's about 10 years, 11 years ago.
Yeah, next month, May, we're going to be celebrating 10 years.
10
of
years.
This journey. And
Lovely.
it's still,
People are still struggling with self-identity. Where do you think this stems from?
I think it's a combination of all kinds of stuff. Childhood, society, culture, all kinds of stuff. But I really think it's because we don't talk about it. And this morning I was reflecting and asking myself, okay, there were certain things, and what struck me was, the saying that kids are supposed to be seen, not heard.
Yeah.
Kids are supposed to be
Kids,
seen. Yeah.
children are supposed to be seen,
And not heard.
not heard.
Yeah.
Never heard that before.
Well, somehow it's in my head, and so it's like you don't talk. When you're around adults, you didn't menkasa.
Yeah.
So how do you express yourself? How do you even say the things that you're thinking? So in my case, I internalized a lot of stuff. And so I had all these fantasies. Oh, my head is so beautiful. So I grew up with all these things and really thought, oh, hey, you crazy, that's all it is. The voices, whatever it is. And really the turning point was when I actually had an encounter with God. And I told him, I said, look, you have to explain things to me because I don't get it. I'm like seriously losing it. Because if you made me, then explain to me, why do I feel this way? Why do I think this way? Why am I seeing things this way? What is it? Like, please help me out because I'm just done. And slowly, through the word of God, he started revealing things to me. And then later I was like, oh, so this was what Mom was trying to teach me. Like, duh. If she'd only explained this, I would have known. But I started seeing things. It was like from a good place, but it was totally, I didn't get it. And I started writing these things down. And that was why I thought it was normal. So I started engaging other people and I realized, no, it's not. It's not. Folks don't actually sit down to ask themselves these questions because they are hard questions. Who do you say you are? Like, what do you mean? What do you want to be?
Identify as such a person? What brought you to that conclusion that this is who you are?
It's a series of events and experiences because when you come to that place of saying, okay, I am this person, it's what you go through that really even confirms if what you said you are is truly is.
Can we make this a complete conversation where it's not a question and answer? Because your interview is different. I'm sorry, guys. I know you put together a lot of questions but it's going to change. I think your interview is different.
Why not?
Because when I think about it, you know how they say, oh, what you go through does not define you. I think it does. I think it shapes, and I'm telling you from someone, like I'm not thinking as a professional or someone who has tried to understand people. I'm talking to you as a person who is just thinking based off from her experiences.
Yeah.
I think experiences shape who you become. And whether or not you decide to accept what has happened to you, it will have an effect on how you show up in life.
It does. It does 100%. So, for instance, you and I before we were having chat, these little things mark us. And it's how you show up after that. So what do you take from it? Do you now recall, which is the most reaction is like, I don't want to do this because I've been hurt. And so I protect myself. And by protecting yourself, you have to ask yourself, am I showing up? Because there comes a time in your life that you have to decide, who are you going to be? And are you going to be that person irrespective of who accepts it or does not? And then also, what is your purpose? Why are you even doing the things that you're doing? Why are you even showing up? I was the kid that I sit in the back of the class. I just did not want to be in people's face. I didn't want attention. I just wanted to get lost. That was me. I was shy and timid, but if there was something that was just plain out, there was something that balls up in me, and I'll stand up. And usually folks would be like, hey, what happened? That's not her. And then once I'm done saying whatever I have to say, I just go back. I'm just quiet in my little corner. But then the more I interacted with people, and I realized people are hurting because they are not able to even express whatever it is. And you think you're losing your mind, but guess what? Maybe not. Maybe this is your makeup. So why not? But let's take a look at it and make sure that it is not being reactive just because of what you've gone through and what you've experienced, but it's actually you showing up because this is who you are.
Okay.
Deep breath. Woo!
So sometimes it is in that finding that you realize that, the things that I didn't even pay attention to were real.
Yeah.
So I have, it's not me. I have a friend
Oh, absolutely.
who would go above and beyond for people and think that it's okay. That's how life is supposed to be. And everybody's pointing out, like, this is not supposed to be like this. If these are your friends, they should do this for you. And I probably think that she never showed up in this world thinking that anything should be done for her. She showed up thinking like, to do anything, you have to earn it. Now that earn everything responsibility that anybody puts on themselves makes you, recluse. I cannot, when I'm done with this, I go back. When I put into them, then I go back and wait if they would respond. And if it doesn't, then let me do more. It's the posture you take at life. When you find yourself in that position, what would be the best advice you'd give to someone like that who is reclusive because they think that there's nothing out here for me? When I'm done with what I am done, I will go back to where the Father called me. It's just really what I am doing. So they validate themselves by what they do.
And it's never enough.
Because you got to keep doing.
Yeah. So first and foremost is embracing that little child in you, because there's always that little girl or boy that just wants to be hugged and just wants to be loved, and recognizing that it's okay. It's okay. And the people pleasing, you have to understand, where is that coming from? And there was a question that said, who hurt you?
Yeah, who hurt you?
Yeah. And it's recognizing that and acknowledging that, yes, I've been hurt. And whether they meant it or not, that's their business. But now I need to work on me, recognizing the hurt, and then taking that hurt and say, okay, what am I going to do?
What I tell you this is going to be a conversation. And I'm going to interject, I promise. I don't do this on this show. We ask questions and they answer. We don't do this. We don't ever do this on this show. Anybody that... Why is that my responsibility?
In terms of?
I love it. I love this show. Thank you, guys. I don't know how many thank yous have I said so far. You gotta have to add it to my salary. Why is that my responsibility?
In terms of finding yourself?
To rework and heal from the hurts that other people meted on me. Why is that my responsibility? Like, I'm already tired from getting hurt. I know it's funny, but like, why can't someone then become the reason why I heal?
Well, sadly enough, we wish that was the case, but it's not. That's reality. I wish I could say otherwise, but that's the truth of the matter. So here's the thing. Recognizing what is within your control and what is out of your control is the key. And that was one of the hardest lessons I had to realize what is within my control and what is out of my control. And I'll share this story with you. Man, talking about friends. So I had this friend, and it was just, I sat in a restaurant for over an hour waiting for this person, and the person didn't show up. And they show up, and they're kind of like, ha ha, And I was just so broken because before that, the relationship was kind of getting all messy and everything. So by the time they showed, in fact, I'd already been crying in the restaurant. I'd already called another friend. I was just boo-hooing. So by the time they showed up, I was already broken. And so I leave, and it was funny to them. And I'm like, I've been sitting here waiting, and you did not even respond. So I walked out. I said, I can't do this. I was supposed to pick somebody up, and the person calls me and cancels. So it was like my whole entire day was just thrown up. And I go home just boiling, throwing myself on the floor, and all I hear is, "No, you're funny." I'm like, are you kidding me? How am I funny? How is it like, did you not see any of these things that these people are doing to me? And it's like, you have expectations of yourself. And what you're doing is you project those expectations on them. And when you don't get it back, you get upset. Why don't you accept the person for who they are and deal with it? Your expectations are your expectations, not theirs. So quit showing your expectations on them. Take them for who they are. If they present themselves, and I think Oprah is the one I attributed, when a person shows you who they are, that's who they truly are.
Believe them.
Believe it. And it's one of the difficult things, but when I realized and I learned it, I was like, oh, so if you're dealing with a selfish person, the person is selfish, plain and simple. Now, the decision lies on you. How are you going to show up? Accept who they are, period.
So I hear that you're the CEO of your life. You can hire and fire whoever you want. But when they say the heart wants what the heart wants, so you have, and this is devoid of any emotional, connections. So I'm talking romantic, right?
Yeah.
To take that out. You've grown up with these girls. You love them. You adore these girls. Like, you want to see them win. Your joy is to see them rise. Yeah. However, they're not showing up like that for you. And that is, so you're telling me now that accept it. So where do I get my seeing? Because I see them. I see what they're doing.
Yeah.
I see they're selfish. I see they're about themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take them for that.
It's hard. I have to admit, it is hard.
So me, that I'm in friendship with them, who is now going to see me for the who I am?
You see now.
Yeah, because me too, I'm somebody.
You be somebody.
Yeah. So I want to also be seen that I am a lover who wants to show up for my people. And my people should also say that, oh, Mimi is also like this. Let's accept her for who she is. And let's embrace her for who she is. Mimi likes to give the big hugs and ask, how are you doing? Are you really okay? Because let's go and get ice cream and talk about this. That is she.
Right.
They're not ready to accept you for who you are. Because accepting you for who you are means that they need to show up the way you like people to show up for you. But you then are going to accept them for who they are and show up for their selfish selves. Like, show up for them. They want to take, but they don't want to give. You see what I've done?
Yeah.
It's a complicated journey.
Life is complicated, and we make it even more so.
So, ne krakra ne say, I'm coming back to you with this. The only reason why I've been going back and forth and breaking is, at what point does a person say that I am important? I am finding the person called me, and I'm going to call her for who exactly she is. At what point in your life do you make that decision?
Let me read something I wrote, and I call this my acceptance speech.
Okay.
So, Victories of a Lost Child was what I called my scribbles. And because, like I said, I internalized a lot of stuff, so I ended up writing them out. And I never intended anybody to see these things. And yeah, that was my intention. But then I got the instructions.
to let them be seen.
Let them be seen. So this was, I call this my acceptance speech. I said, I am proud to be a freak.
Yeah.
I like having sex with only one partner. I like the way I look. I like the way I think. I like the way I feel. Growing up is hard, but it is a joy. Your imaginary friends can always play with you as long as you don't use them to hide your true feelings. I am not a plaything. I am a pretty thing, but not for play. I am not a pretty little girl. And then let me add this to it. So this is from 1 Peter 2:9. It says, but you are not like that, for you are a chosen people. You are royal priest, a holy nations, God's very own possession. As a result, you can show others the goodness of God, for he called you out of darkness into his wonderful light. You show up for him. You do things for him. You are who you are because he says so. And so if it's a big hug, you give the big hug because that is who you are. Whether they accept it, they don't accept it, that's on them. But you give that hug. By the way, hugs are good. I love hugs.
I love hugs so bad. It's
Yeah.
so bad.
So when you show up and you just be you. And when you recall in him because you are loved, you are seen. Just because they don't doesn't mean that you are less than it. You are a whole lot, and they say like a bag of chips. But you are much more than that. So don't let that out there kill what is already in you. As we grow up, I realize, when you see a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, they're so much full of life. What do you want to be? They'll tell you. I was a kid that when you asked me, I don't even know what I wanted to be. But there's a lot of light in life in them. But as they get older, all that negativity is just thrown at them and they get buried. And so who we are is buried under all that dirt and all that mud. And we got to dig out. And he digs you out and place you the light that you are.
In discovering, in all your conversations with young people, because you're a very typical example of someone who pours into other people just for them to become the best version of themselves. In all your engagements with people, what's that one thing that you keep seeing recur in many young adults today?
So we confess certain things, but we truly don't believe it.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
So we are faking it till we make it. So we are confessing it, but truly deeply inside of us, we don't believe it.
So there was a young lady, and I remember this was in a workshop, and we were talking about strength, and she was like, "Oh yeah, she stands on the scripture. I can do all things through Christ who believes in me." And then we were talking about weakness, and then she said, "People make her feel like nothing." And I was like, "Wait, did you not just say I can do all things through Christ?" Mm-hmm. And now people make you feel like nothing? And right before me, it was like something just glared in her eyes. I was like, "Oh snap. Something's happening to this young lady." I didn't know that later on she was interviewed, and she actually said in the interview that she's been saying this, "I can do all things through Christ. I can do all things through Christ." But truly, truly,
she didn't believe it. Yeah. Because can you really, do you know Christ to know that you can do all things through him? Who is it through him that you're doing it? Do you understand how Christ operates?
it's a walk. That's what they call the walk of faith. Because truly, it's. I don't know what will happen in the next moment, but I do know that I show up, and that's it. That is what I can do. I rise up in the morning. I'm like, thank you that I'm up in the morning. What do I have to do? Let me show up, because I don't know who needs to hear what I have to say, so I show up, and that's it.
Now, one of the reasons why, from all the conversations I had this year on International Women's Day, one of the reasons why they were pushing for the theme for this year, which is give to gain, is that we realize that at the top, you meet someone there for 20 years and they'll be like the first and only woman who did this. The only young girl in medicine, in aviation. It was becoming a thing, and people were celebrating that, whereas there are many men in the room. So your giving is really to bring more of yous. So more of Mimi's, more of Miss Amoakohene, more of yous, so that it won't just be you or the first.
Right.
You can maintain the first, but after you, there are many offsprings.
Absolutely.
In that journey of accepting to pour into other women, there's the ones that will rebel, not like, I know my rights, squad. When you're faced with individuals like that, and you know that there's potential here, you know that this energy is supposed to be used for something more positive, how do you approach such situations?
Let him be.
Oh, no.
Seriously. No, because when the time is right, it'll be. But sometimes, it's like when you force certain things, what comes out may not be something. Yeah. And truly, also, what comes out is a true person when you push them against the wall. So if the person is not, because depending on the place and what the person is going through, sometimes you see goodness and it breaks your heart, but you have to accept that. You have to let them be. And again, it's not an easy thing to see greatness and, and not want to push and not, but when it's like a flower blossom. Flowers blossom in their season at the right time. I think there's one flower that blossoms once a year and at a certain particular time. If you do it before, you destroy it. If you do it after, it's just that moment. And when you see it happening, it's such a beautiful thing. And you can say, oh, I had a little to do with that. But it has to be when they are ready. And you do your part. Pour into them. Keep pouring to them. Keep praying for them. Right now, it's like, okay, if they're not going to accept it, I'm just going to go on my knees and just commit to them. And let him be the one to handle them. Media, I'll do my part.
Yeah.
But it's recognizing that you are not God. You are not.
You really are not.
No, you're not. I mean, who loves them more than you, Grapple? I mean, so do your part. I came across, it was like sometimes we have a savior mentality.
Yes.
Or a syndrome where we think we can save everybody. No, sorry.
You can't.
No, even Jesus couldn't do it. So,
Couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The guy died.
Yeah.
The guy died, and look at you now. Such a big mess.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there was one day where I was just fussing and it was like, you are angry. It was like the whole entire world, how many people reject me, and one person rejects you and you're all heartbroken and you're crying. I'm like, Charlie, my guy.
But your capacity is more than my capacity. Why are you comparing yourself to me?
You see now.
What's that?
I was like, Charlie.
Jesus Christ, sometimes you have to be careful.
Like,
Because
the guy break my heart too.
You look at you are in the heavens. Do you know what's happening on earth?
But he walked it too, so I wonder if
but for 30 years.
Charlie, did his heart get broken?
I'm sure his heart got... The day he went to the church and threw the things about, that's heartbreak. Yeah, that's heartbreak. Watching his mother from the cross, that's heartbreak. Yeah.
No, that's beyond heartbreak.
I think Jesus had the most heartbreak. And so we don't have the right, but then again, my girl, you understand. Should we understand? I know you understand. But anyway, we're having... This is probably... I've had multiple goosebumps. And if you don't believe this, you can watch all the episodes of The Dish. We don't do this. We ask questions, you answer. We are technical. We're very, very... because we try to... What we do over here is to project the depths of women. How deep women can go in business, how far and intelligent women can, execute projects. And so that's what we do over here. And I think we're doing yours quite differently. But you know what we need it's a tap into our femininity and just be soft sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And that's what you just done to me over this. Because me, a hard guy. But anyway, we're having great conversations here on the dish. We're going for a quick commercial break. When we come back, maybe there's going to be like a whole twist to this deepness that has happened over here on the show. But maybe we'll keep the momentum. You never know. We'll be right back after this. You're welcome back to the dish right here on MX24. My name is Miriam Mensah, and if you're just joining me, you made the right choice. We are having great conversations right here on the show with Miss Amoakohene. She has torn me apart. I'm a wreck right now. What I'm going to tell you is such conversations are important for growth. We went deep into understanding what you're becoming on the show before we went on a break, but we're back. Before we get into that, I want to say a big thank you to the GC brand for coming on board this season. We're excited to work with you, but even more because I know my entire generation is about to get fresh and smell like roses all around, because the boys are going to be hooking themselves up on Style Up, from the hair gel to the perfume to the roll-on, and making sure they're looking fresh every day. They're not going to be caught on fresh. And my gal them are going to princess themselves throughout the year, not smelling like evil spirits, but just the angels that they are, and the babies. They're going to just be babies, really, from skin to soul, because if your skin is looking great, even the baby feels good just going to bed, and of course, waking up just feeling fresh, okay? And so just grab your GC brand for your entire family and thank me later. Also, I want to say big thank you to Telecel, that network that is stealing all your money. Every 1 week be a not fraud for it's that number. Just jump on Telecel and make sure that your money is secure every step of the way. Just dial *110# or download the Telecel Play app today for secure transaction every step of the way. We say send the keke. Back in the studio, I'm still here with Miss Amoakohene. You were going to read something to me.
Yes. Okay, so it says, do you wish you had some way of channeling all that energy that torments you so much out? How does one find them? Please tell me if you know, because very soon this river is going to spill over and there might be no stopping. How do you know if this is the right channel anyway?
Because I said that sometimes I just don't want to be this girl anymore. That's what I said to you. And you said you're going to find me this chapter of your book.
Yeah.
Because for me, I think that sometimes the kind of hearts that certain people have, they're not meant for this world. This world is too cruel. This world is too bitter, tired, or just completely just nonchalant. And you just don't need any soft heartness in this season, or in fact in your life. When you're at that point of breaking, you're not thinking about, oh, but I'm just a lover and I just want to show up as a lover. You're probably even tired of loving, because even lovers are tired too.
Yeah.
Even good people are tired too sometimes. So what do you then do in that season when you're just like tired?
So there was a time that the guys, they be doing something, so and the thing was so subtle because we had broken up, and I remember I was getting ready for work, and all of a sudden I started hearing those words that were spoken to me, and they broke. I snapped, and I couldn't stop crying. And I remember I called work and I said, I can't come to work. And my colleague was like, why? I said, because I hearing all these things. And he's like, you are not staying at home because of some guy.
Yeah.
I'm coming to get you. And he came and he was like, I hope by the time I show up, you better be ready to go to work.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that because at that moment, I could not. And I wish I could say I was okay after that, but no, I spiraled even worse. Where I just, like, sadly enough, I would sometimes even walk close to this road hoping the car would hit me. Just so I could stop feeling what I was feeling.
Yeah, that's why you just want to collapse that feeling.
And I remember my colleague telling me, "Do you know how very selfish you are? Because you are going to rob the world of you." And I remember he used to call me his sunshine smile. He said, because you walk in, he said, "I look forward to seeing you walk in and smile and say good morning to me. And you just want to take that away." And I'm thinking, but how about me?
Exactly. I'm the one giving the smile. Shouldn't I be fine to be giving that smile?
And I remember someone said to me, I smiled and they're like, "Oh, that's so beautiful." And that day I was going through, and the words that came out of my mouth was not pretty. I said, "They are daggers in man's smiles." I know.
That's what she said?
Yeah, I was not having it. I was not, because I was like, I'm going through, and you tell me like, "Oh, my smile makes you feel good." Like, really?
Really?
And
Really? Where am I going to get my feel good from?
yeah, and I thought about it, and I felt, and the person was hurt, and I went to them and I apologized for hurting them, and I recognized I didn't make me, and I didn't make my smile, and if my smile was able to give that to them, why would I rob it from them? Because I'm going through. And again, it's not an easy thing. So, I had somebody tell me, "You look like you don't have any problems in the world." I said, "If that's what you get, then so be it. I know what I'm going through, and I know what I'm dealing with." But somehow, isn't it a good thing we don't look like what we deal with?
Yeah,
And what we
it
go through?
does.
So let them take what it is, but then you find that corner. And I'm learning to take God as my corner, because He refills and nourishes like no other. And there was one program that I did, and the program was Saturday. Sunday, I cried. I cried so much. I called my aunt, and she was like, "Was it a bad program?" I said, "No, it was really good. People are calling me, telling me that they're so blessed. And every single time I hear somebody being blessed, I feel worse.
Oh, why?
I could not explain it. It was that bad. And it was like, all I had was go to the altar. And I'm like, "No, where's the help as in?" Like, go to the altar saying, like, I was so broken that morning. I called a friend of mine. I even made it worse. The next morning, I'm getting ready for work. And I hear, "Now you know how it feels like when somebody's broken." I'm like, "Nah, I beg." It's like you are empty and nothing can fill you. You just, it's just such a huge void. And it's like, yeah, I'm the only one that can feel it. Nothing else can feel it. And I'm like, okay, this is hard. I don't want this. It's hard. I said, but that's what I've given you. So you can see it in others and be there for them. But then again, that question is like, how about me now? Now who's there for me now?
Exactly the question I keep asking God. Like,
But He says, I am for you. I'm there for you. And so I'm still learning it, because I like, Charlie,
yeah.
so sometimes yeah.
Now
But
let's drop the heat a little bit in the room because it's getting too tense. When you heard the gift to gain thing for the International Women's Day, what did that mean to you?
the first thing, okay, so the geeky side of me came up and was like, first of all, I was like, gift, isn't that an oxymoron or whatever word you call it? Because if I give, I don't have it. And then it was like, no, but what if you're given what cannot be counted? That which you cannot count. So if you do give, because you cannot count, but the impact of it can be counted. So the analogy that came to mind was, when you have a candle, a lit candle, you can light somebody else's candle. But your light doesn't go out. It's still lit. Yeah. They can light somebody else's candle.
Yes, doesn't go out. It's still lit.
Yeah. And eventually you have a blazing fire. And everybody still has their fire. That's what.
Yeah, that's what it meant to. To discover your potential or who you truly are in yourself, in your book, according to what you have learned is practical. What mindset shift do you need to be able to get into that posture of becoming?
One is acceptance. Acceptance. Yeah, the world sucks. That's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Accept it.
Yeah, accept it. Be real. Be honest. Like brutally honest with yourself. Yeah, hitting. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
hurting. Nothing will change them. You're hurting,
And
you
thank
know.
you. But now, what you're going through does not define you now.
That's also true.
Yeah. So who are you going to show up? What is it that you see? Step up, walk it. Because I don't know until you walk it. You know, they say a journey starts with just one step. So show up. My first workshop, I said, I'm doing a 3-day workshop. They're like, Ghana, ain't a 3-day workshop. I'm like, I don't know until I do it. I learned from it. Yeah, we'll not do a 3-day workshop unless it's a residential 3-day. Yeah. Did I have everything? No. But I did it, and folks showed up, and I think I cried all throughout the 3 days because I was like, oh, I just want a small group of people to come together. No, they kept coming, and they kept coming, and they kept coming. We won't be having this conversation if I did not take that step, irrespective of all the...
What's going on in your life? Oh. So you know the thing we say to ourselves, do it tired, do it frustrated, but do it anyway. Do it regardless. You might not be happy when you're doing it. There's a purpose that is being fulfilled. There's a mandate that is being secured, fulfilled. There's a vision that God saw when making you, that He is happy that you showed up broken and made it happen. So the universe is happy. So you could be breaking, but you're making people happy. I'm gonna read something to you, and that will probably be where. Today we're doing a lot of reading on the show. Wow, I like this. I love this. I could go on and on and on. So I read this. So this young girl sent me this message, and I have actually pinned it in our chat. And so whenever I'm finding it, I find it all the time. She sent me a message so many weeks ago, and I read this message, and I was like, but this girl, the day she sends me that message, I wasn't happy. She said, please, this is, and I'm going to give her name out, and I love her, but let's just keep the name away. Please, this is da 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 da. I've longed to say this for a year now, and today I've gathered courage to say it. You really inspire me a lot, especially your smile. Brings people together. The way you talk, the kind of spirit you possess. I really love how you carry yourself. I look forward to become the kind of great woman that you are. You've been a great journalist in society and an inspiration to everyone or every young girl out there, including me. I don't know how many girls, but I'm sure she thinks that she's like the majority. And I'd love to become like you, and I hope to meet you someday, maybe not now, but in the future. Even in her chat, she's doubtful that she will even be responded to, like she will get a respond.
Yeah.
But that day, I know where I was. And I know what this message meant to me. And I read it every now and then to myself that, Mimi, the thing that you keep showing up doing, that you're doing tired, it is changing lives. People are deriving hope.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't hold back on your story. You restore people's hope in becoming. And so you might not be feeling good about it today, but it is changing lives. It is having an impact, and that's what your focus should be. Having said that, for someone who feels stuck, and that's going to be like our final thing to say on the show. And so you can add any other thing you want to add to it, which means your book, your platforms, and all of that. For someone who's stuck, who feels you're not really stuck. It's just a feeling, or it's usually a feeling that leads to the stuckness. So for someone who's feeling stuck right now, feels like this, it's too hard to push forward, because pushing forward looks like starting all over again. What do I do?
You're going to beat me for this.
Yeah,
But, child, you got to get up.
yeah.
You got to get up.
Yeah.
You got to get up.
Anybody got time for this, man?
No, there's no easy way of saying it. First and foremost, let's be gentle on ourselves, because I think sometimes we expect so much because we want so much. And that thing it's also what, especially at the disappointments and all of those. So it's like, okay, this is how I'm feeling right now. I feel stuck. Why do I have to get up? So that purpose that is bigger than you,
The why.
that why. That's the why that was actually going to, you're like, okay, if I don't go, that girl is not going to see that hope. It's not going to, I mean, she can potentially even lose her life. I mean, do you want that on you? For me, the other thing was, I got to give an account. So, what's my account going to be? Well, I was hoping you give me this and you didn't give me, so I didn't do this. I'm like, I don't want that on my record. So, I asked for grace, I asked for strength. And I said, if you want me up, you got to help me up. And I lean on him. I've learned not to do it because every single time I do it on my own, I call it by my own strength and everything, I mess up really bad. But that's what I've realized when I feel stuck, that I have to go back and take my book and read. Like, okay, what did you write in this book? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I do on a constant basis. Like, I have to read what it is that I wrote and then remind myself of the things that he enabled me to do. Because there's so much when you look. But the thing about it is when you're stuck, sadly enough, there's also a chemical that the body produces that even makes you feel worse. And so you have to shift that. So you're fighting that chemical in your body and you're fighting what is around you and you're fighting all the things, but you have to shift that energy. And sometimes you just got to all right.
We're not doing it. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how to get unstuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how to get unstuck.
Yeah.
You cannot be stuck forever. You have to unstuck yourself.
You have
because
to.
there's so much that's out there waiting for you to, blossom for it to become, or for it to exist. And so on this journey of becoming and receiving, if you're on the receiving end, and if you're on the giving end, whatever position you find yourself in, it's the time. Let it happen.
Yeah.
Let it take a course.
There's a caution I have to give to the givers. You know, go if you do all oh.
You're not Jesus.
Uh-huh.
You're not deputy Jesus.
Yeah. So
Do what you can do.
recognize that. And you have your leeches and your parasites and all of those. So you also have to add a little bit of wisdom and discernment to your giving. Because if not, they will take and take and take until there's nothing left and they'll still want more. So we have to be mindful of that and recognize when you do need to retrieve and refuel so that you can pour.
MamiSerwaa Amoakohene, thank you so much for being so generous with yourself. You have poured, and I'm telling you, you can, like I said, spend time and watch all the other episodes of The Dish. You can find this. We've never done this on the show before. It's not what we do, but I think that you were meant for such a time as this. And on this show, we're going to grow, but we're going to learn all the facets of growing that will help us become the best version of ourselves. How do we connect with you?
Okay.
And when is your next event that we have to come and sit down?
So the next event is May the 30th.
Oh.
We are celebrating our 10th anniversary.
Yay!
Yes, so definitely inviting all y'all. And so I'll give my WhatsApp number. It's 055-120-4407. So send me a WhatsApp. Again, it's 055-120-4407. And on Facebook, it's Finding the Person Called Me. On Instagram is FTPCM_GH. Still Finding the Person Called
Finding
Me.
the Person Called Me.
Yeah. So
Finding the Person Called Me on all social media platforms. You can abbreviate it. FTPCM. Find the Person Called Me. And just follow the social media pages because we have exciting things coming up.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to a collaboration with The Dish and yourself.
Yeah.
And so we'll work on that. But thank you.
Thank you.
No, you're amazing. You are absolutely amazing.
And
But you
so
know
are
who's more
you.
Thank you, my love. And you know if it's more amazing? It's you that keeps showing up for this show. I love you so much, and thank you for always showing up. But to our super sponsors, the GC brand and Telecel, you are the real MVPs. Thank you so much for taking care of, especially the GC brand has taken care of Ghanaians for over 25 years and is still counting, still impacting, still changing lives, still building confidence. The GC brand is all about you. And to Telecel, thank you so much for serving the people of Ghana because Ankenya Mwanka, Yisika Beirasa. Why? Your money definitely deserves the safest home. And so dial *110# or download the Telecel Play app today and connect with Telecel. As you send money, just send it keke the safest way possible. And so also for me right here, make sure to connect with us on all social media platforms, MX24GH on all social media platforms. I'll see you again next week. My name is Miriam Mensah. Have a blessed day.